Hello folks, this is a Black Regional and today is One Piece chapter 841. So we're going to go ahead and get right to it. The name of the chapter is called To the East Blue. Now for another fan art request, we have Whitebeard sitting on his chair and his white beard is being chewed on by a bunch of goats. That's pretty cool. Like he's still frowning, but it's good to see him living life, well, in a different place. Oh, Whitebeard. Now, the flashback is still continuing on, and whereas there's a girl that is bringing in some drinks, and somebody's asking, I wonder where that guy keeps carrying those fancy meals off to every day. And so another person says, beats me. And it turns out that German guy, that guy is bringing in food. And the guy's bringing in food and delivers it towards a transporting window. And it has been 6 months since Sanji's imprisonment, and Sanji's looking at them. He looks very, very pissed with it. Pissed. Anyways, the scene changes, whereas one of the cooks says, we haven't had any guests recently. And one of the old guys says, quit overthinking it. Our one and only job is to follow the king's orders. So these guys are probably clones. And somebody says, yes, sir. And so somebody says, maybe they're hiding some kind of VIP refugee in this castle. And another person says, I'm putting my money on him being a king's new mistress. And another person says, oh yeah, have you heard that one of the guards heard some piercing shrieks coming from the dungeon? Oh god, that has to be Sanji. And somebody says, yells out, cut it out, all of you. Now, oh my god, this scene is getting a little bit worse. Anyways, apparently Sanji's eyeing magic being loosened just so he can eat the food while the Goodman 66 are watching him. And there's a flashback of someone's yelling, yeah, yeah. You know, the scene changes, whereas Vince Jug and the scientists are watching his sons being trained. We have Ichinichi punching somebody to the ground. Well, they talk. He's very, very strong for his size. And the scientist has such magnificent skills. Calling these children superhuman isn't doing them justice. And Vince just says, "Wahaha, you make me proud, children." Oh, that's bogus as hell. Like, and I guess that's how he laughs. Wahaha. And he's smiling for the first time. And the children says, Father, Father. And he's smiling in a dumbass way. Like he says, I love you all more than anything. He hugs all of his children except for Sanji. That's bogus as hell. And he's continuing to munch his food. And there's another flashback in the flashback, whereas Sanji says, Owie! And one of the chefs says, good heavens, oh Sanji. You must leave this place at once. This is not a place a ruler should be spending time in. And the scene goes back as he continued to chew his food, and Sanji says, I finally did it. And somebody says, one of the Grimmer soldiers says, my lord, are you sure you wish to go there alone? The medical ward is located quite a distance from here, on the outskirts of the castle ground. And in this weather, and then Sanji says, I'm going, don't follow me. And the scene changes, and Sanji says, now words to my father, eat, and he slips. And somebody yells out, a big storm's coming. And one of the Grimmer 66 says, retreat to your homes. And he continues to keep walking. And there's another dog. And there's a dog that's growling and hungry. He smells some food. And Sanji says, you can't have this food. And the dog chases after Sanji, and the scene changes as there's a big ass storm going on. And Sanji reaches the place that he wanted to go. And he's covered with bloody wounds. And one of the citizens says, Lord Sanji, have you come all the way here alone? And one of the soldiers says, that's awfully sweet of you, but the queen can barely keep anything down, so we must be selective about what she eats. Oh, the queen? Oh, I'm pretty sure that's the mother. And the person says, but hey, if this is appetizing enough, then at the very least, blah! Yeah, she is repulsed by Sanji's cooking, like some nasty black stuff comes out of her mouth. And the scene changes, and there's a girl that says, "Come all the way just to see me." Oh, Sanji, you'll get a stern talking to from your father again if he finds out. And Sanji said, "Mm-hmm." And that's Sanji's mother. And Sanji's mother says, "Don't tell me, did you prepare this dish for me?" And Sanji says, "Yeah." And Sanji's mother says, "Ipani." And Ipani comes out and says, "Yes, ma'am." And as Sanji's mother says, "You need no longer waste your time and efforts preparing these meals. I will simply dine on whatever is that Sanji has made for me." And there's a shock on her face, and Ipani says, "Ah, well, he may have rather gotten scrambled during his journey here, so we had no choice but to dispose of it in the trash." And Sanji's mother says, "How lovely! Egg rolls, fish, and some bananas. It looks like." Oh my God! She got those out of the trash. What the heck? And Sanji says, I'm sorry, mother. I messed up. I had a little incident on the way here. I dropped it. Then it got crushed. And it's wet from the rain too. And Sanji's mother says, well, let's see. And she starts chewing the food and there's a smile on her face. And she says, this tastes great. That's a heart warming moment. And Ipani is surprised. And Sanji says, really? Huh? And then Sanji's mother says, will you make something for me again? And what the? And oh, holy crap! There's a cross. There's a cross image in the flashback, and so like it's obviously that Sanji's mother died a long time ago. That's sad. Like, and now the scene changes, whereas Sanji continues to cut up some bread, and one of the German soldiers says, "I could work in some cooking utensils." And he continues reading a book, and something pops up to him, and Sanji says, "The all blue." And the scene changes, and somebody says, "Hey, look, it really is him." And somebody else says, "Man, you're right." And there's some people in front of Sanji's cell. And lo and behold, it's the brothers. And Niji says, "So you really didn't kick the bucket for father to go through the entire charade?" And Ichiji says, "Well, duh, it's because he wished the lie was true." And Yanji says, "Then maybe we can bring father true happiness by making sure you really do die." And Sanji gets scared, and all the three brothers start beating him. That's bogus as hell. And the scene changes, and we have pissed off Riju. And Riju says, "Just to clarify, I'm not on your side, okay? I don't want to end up as the next target." Riju says, "Those three may have turned out to be the ultimate warriors father dreamed of, but they're utterly incapable of feeling emotions like empathy or sympathy." That makes a lot more sense because Ichiji says, "This is me, caring." So he really doesn't have any emotions at all. And Riju says, "Now my vacation was successful on my body as well, but I'm nothing like them." What? That doesn't make any sense. And Riju says, "Just so you know, we're about to climb the red line. Apparently we're going to be fighting some wars in the East Blue." And there's a shot of Sanji, and apparently some stuff falls on him. What the heck? A desk and something else falls on top of him. And it turns out that all the snails are going up the East Blue, and they're going up the red line. Now this happens more than 11 years back, I believe. And somebody said, "We will begin our journey towards the East Blue." And somebody else that says the ETA will be approximately 3 weeks from now. And Yanji and Niji have some metal bats. And Sanji says, Riju, Sanji says, I want to become a chef. And Riju says, you, stop blurting out things like that to me. And then the scene changes in the East Blue. And somebody gets very, very, very shocked that it's a Grammar 66. They really do exist. Well, yeah, it's a power of science. Let's see here. If a primitive guy from like 1841 could find marine fossils on top of the islands and create a theory of evolution, it's hard to believe that mystical force up in the sky created a bunch of things at one time. And somebody says, Lord Judge, the Cottonzians have noticed our presence. And Lord Judge says, do not let them continue the onslaught. And Sanji starts crying, and he says, if I run away here and now in the East Blue, I won't have to see Father's face ever again, will I? And Riju starts crying, and she says, stand back. It turns out that she breaks apart at the bars. And Riju says, you won't get a second chance at this. You better not mess it up. And it turns out the Sanji's going to make his escape. And the Gerber soldiers continue to yell out, begin the invasion, defeat Kazuya. So that's the name of the country they've been invading. And Sanji takes the keys, and somebody says, what do we have here? And Sanji says, and Visible Judge says, it's just you, Sanji. I don't recall giving you permission to leave your cell. Uh-oh. And Sanji says, and he manages up by saying, I'm leaving this place. No one's stopping me, not even you. And Lord Judge says, your stay in the basement seems to have some adverse effects on your manners. You are nothing but a commoner. There's no way someone of your age could ever hope to face it and survive the harsh realities of this world. It'd be sitting dead for you. And Sanji holds up a small knife towards him. And Sanji says, I care what you think. They're trying to stop me. And Lord Just says, it's music to my ears, actually. And Sanji starts crying. And Visible Judge says, no matter how much I wanted it, my humanity just wouldn't allow it. Even as useless as you are, I couldn't bring myself to dispose of you with my two hands. What the heck? That's really bogus as hell. And Judge says, but now this opportunity has presented itself. You wish to leave here of your own volition. And Visible Judge says, why on earth would I try and stop you? Feel free to take the key into that iron mess while you're at it. And the Visible Judge says, however, as your father, I do have one last thing I'd like to ask of you, Sanji. And Visible Judge says, it is regarding your family ties. What the hell? And Sanji starts crying again. And Visible Judge says, under no circumstance are you able to identify yourself as my offspring. You are the sole blemish in my life, the one thing that I'm ashamed of. Do I make myself clear? And Sanji starts crying. And it's really like a really sad scene. And Riju starts crying as well because she's eavesdropping a conversation. Anyways, the scene changes, and somebody says, "What are you going to do about that cruise ship at the port?" And one of the Gerber soldiers says, "They're unrelated to our mission. Leave them be." And Riju says, "Get on that ship, Sanji. Suck it up and quit sobbing like a baby, and just do it already." And Riju says, you can never come back to us. Do you hear me? Yeah. And the world is a really big place. That's what Riju says. And Riju says, one day you're going to meet people who will treat you the way you deserve to be treated. And he starts running. And Riju says, go, don't look back, don't turn back. And Sanji lets out a big wail. And their flashback ends just like that. Now, Sanji's beaten to the ground as all the three brothers continue to laugh at them, so things have not changed at all. They really haven't. Now, Richu starts coming forth, and Richu says, move it or lose it. And then one doctor says, well, Miss Richu, we should probably tend to Lord Sanji's injuries. And Richu says, what part of move it or lose it don't you understand? And Richu says, is it that they're really the face of a man about to go to see his fiance? It's just some restaurant owner you used to work with. Why do you care so much? You must have known what had happened if you came back here. And Richu says, I know you have very few pleasant memories about this place, Sanji. Anyway, the scene changes. The scene changes, seducing woods. It has been 11 hours since the beginning of the battle between Luffy and Cracker. And Luffy starts wheezing, and he says, gugh, gugh. He's gotten very fat. And one of the trees got the trees got their trunk chopped off, and Nami says, I thought he was exaggerating when he said he could produce an infinite amount of biscuits, but and Sanji and Luffy says doesn't matter because his stamina definitely isn't infinite. And Cracker says, look who's talking. Go on, keep on shoving your face with him. I look forward to watching you explode and die. Maybe the little friend will finally realize how futile this all is. And Luffy says, I'm full, damn it. Nobody told you you could start to eating them. Cracker says, I'm not passing on free biscuits, damn it. How dare you devour my biscuits, soldiers. Fight, run, eat, repeat. I'm getting sick and tired of this strategy of yours. He ate all the biscuits. That's bogus as hell. He ate a lot of things. And then Luffy says, "Whoa, bring it then. I can eat whatever you have to dish out. It's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a hell of a lot more than this to stop me from seeing Sanji." And it turns out that Cracker has barely receiving injuries. Oh my god! Like it's. Well, that's the end of that.